Hey everyone, Sprawlsy here, and I have recently been reading through the Chronicles of Narnia books. There are 7 books in total. I am currently on book number 6 in the reading order, which is The Silver Chair. Out of everything I've read so far, this has been the longest book compared to the others, and actually I've got one more book to go for Last Battle, which looks pretty short. So in the 7 books, I have read The Magician's Nephew, the classic The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, which is the one people are most likely to have heard of, and then The Horse and His Boy, bit of an unusual one, but a pretty solid read, followed by Prince Caspian, and then The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, and I've now read The Silver Chair. I just have the Last Battle to go. So the purposes of this review is The Silver Chair. In this book, there is no longer any Peter, Susan, Edmund and Lucy. They have all been written out of the Chronicles of Narnia series in the previous 2 books. You can see those in my previous reviews. So they are no longer in Narnia because they are now too old for some reason, despite plenty of other human adults living in Narnia. I don't know. Anyway, the role of this book: 2 humans, Eustace and Jill, travel from our world into Narnia. They are summoned by Aslan, who sends them on a quest to locate and rescue Prince Caspian, or now King Caspian's son, as King Caspian is soon about to die from old age and his son is needed to be the next rightful heir, but his son has gone missing, so Aslan recruits Eustace and Jill to rescue this long lost son. Why Aslan doesn't do it himself, I have no idea. But let's ignore that fact and just carry on with the story. So Eustace and Jill are summoned from our world. So 2 kids. Eustace was introduced in The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, the previous book, and he started off being a complete jerk, but then was a very respectable member of society by the end. So in this book, he is very happy to actually see Narnia for the first time, as in the previous book, he was only ever on the Dawn Treader and lands outside Narnia. He now gets to see Narnia for the first time and very much likes it, as does Jill. But they actually spend a lot of the time going north of Narnia into uncharted territory to find this prince, so they can bring him home to be the next rightful king. Prince Caspian, or now King Caspian, has gone off to effectively die, whilst these 2 kids go to rescue his son. It's established that the son disappeared a long time earlier, based on an abduction by a witch from the same lands as the original White Witch in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. How she gets to be in the world of Narnia, I have no idea. The origins of the White Witch in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is detailed in The Magician's Nephew, of how she got to Narnia in the first place. But that White Witch actually comes from another world. So if the witch in this book comes from the same world as the White Witch, no idea how she gets to Narnia. No idea. But anyway, so Jill and Eustace turn up in the world of Aslan, or the land of Aslan. Why there, and not in Narnia or somewhere worthwhile to find the rightful heir? I don't know. But Aslan sends the 2 into Narnia so they can begin their trek up north to find the rightful heir. At the start of their journey, they encounter I'm going to have to work out what the thing is. They encounter a new character called... I'm just going to have to check the book to remember his name, called Puddleglum. And Puddleglum is a new species. What that species is called is... Okay, it's going to take me a few moments to check. It's not easy to find when you want to really know what it was. Puddleglum is a marsh womble or something like that. I think it's a bit of a silly creature created for the purpose of this book. The character itself is perfectly fine, well written by C.S. Lewis, but it just felt a bit silly after, or the nature of what a marsh womble is, or marsh wriggle, can't quite remember the name now. The nature of what it is feels a bit silly after all the previous books, and in a way this story itself feels a bit tired. Whilst it was a bit longer, well, for longest book, and fairly easy to read, didn't take too long. In typical style of C.S. Lewis, plenty of things left to your imagination, not too descriptive, easy to read, but the story itself, to me personally, felt a bit tired. And I think, and not actually that much of it is based in Narnia. The characters spend most of the time north of Narnia, in the lands north of Narnia. Kind of like the last couple of books, he's been trying to see what the world is like beyond Narnia itself. But in this one, kind of, to me, felt a bit tired. Whilst there were some nice little tricks, the land of giants, pretty interesting. As a whole, the story didn't feel as original or unique compared to the others, like characters going on a quest. Pretty much what they did in the Voyage of the Dawn Treader, quest to find lost lords. So to me, it just felt a bit tired. But as I know, this is book number 6 or 7, so the series itself is coming to an end. I guess beyond this, C.S. Lewis may not have had much left to do in terms of what he wanted with Narnia. But out of the 6 books I've read so far, I would rate this one as the worst of the 6. It's not a bad book, still enjoyable, just not as good as the others. To me, personally, it just felt tired. Particularly with the character of Puddleglum. Whilst I enjoyed the character himself and his unique perspective of trying to see the worst in everything, the nature of the creature just felt a bit silly when you have plenty of other creatures who were treated with a lot more dignity. Again, I can see the character having sort of a unique perspective, but just felt out of place and a bit silly, really, for the whole of Narnia. But not to take away from the book, still enjoyable read, and I highly recommend it. But mostly if you're reading the whole series, to read this book on its own, out of context, the story itself would just seem a bit rubbish. You kind of need to read it as part of the whole saga of Narnia, or the whole Chronicles of Narnia, to really appreciate it. I did miss the old kids, Peter, Susan, Edmund and Lucy. Whilst they were mentioned, I missed them from the story. They were enjoyable characters. Eustace and Jill didn't quite have the same sort of chemistry, characterization, so they weren't as interesting to read. And in a way, I think Jill was written a bit rubbish. Could have been a much better writing for her. And when they do finally catch up to the long lost heir of Narnia, it felt a bit, you saw it coming. You knew who this character was before you met him. Because there's a kind of, tries to mislead you a bit, but it's like you meet a character earlier on, you know it's the long lost heir. So it's no surprise when he finally turns up to be the long lost heir. I don't mean to spoil the book, so if you have not read it and had no intention, ignore what I just said. I now look forward to reading the last book, which is The Last Battle, and seeing what happens in that. Never read it before. Well, to be honest, I never read any of these books before, which is why I'm reading them now and reviewing them. So in summary, it's an enjoyable book, a bit long, but a bit tired compared to the previous ones. But it's great to see some of the classic characters from Narnia. Aslan, always a joy to read, but always, I think, it's a bit of a rubbish character, telling these people to go off and do something when he could have easily done it himself. But there's actually a really nice little bit at the end, which I did quite like, is okay, if you've never read the book, feel free to turn off now, because I'm about to give a bit of a spoiler. Aslan and Caspian end up in this world. It's very brief, but quite a nice little touch to the book. The context of why will be revealed if you read this, but after seeing in all the previous books characters coming from our world to Narnia, it's nice to see a little switch up. Very small, very brief, but very nice to read. Hope you've enjoyed my review. If you do, please do like, subscribe. Again, my least favourite book of the series because it just felt tired, but a still enjoyable read. I now look forward to reading the last book, The Last Battle, and seeing what that is, and then I'll review it. In the meantime, have a fantastic rest of your time, and I'll see you soon. Bye!